Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and this is the second part of our StencilJS build, which is taking a while. Basically, a lot of just dealing with sort of like things that were problems once upon a time in React that aren't a problem nowadays, and just kind of like rediscovering those pain points of class components and JSX. Basically having to type this all the time, having to remember to bind your functions through with arrow function by nesting them in arrow functions, and all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, so we're doing the thing. We're getting it done. But with that, let's continue on. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to set it up so we can update. Okay, so actually let's fix this. So that way this is 0. Okay. Nice. Okay. So now what we want to do is we're going to be able to click on one of these and then have it so that way we can update it. Okay. So what's going to happen is that we're going to create like a select to do method. Select to do. Okay. And then what's going to happen is that select to do. What's going to happen in here is that this dot reminder will equal, you're going to be passing in a to do. Okay, equal to do dot reminder. This dot completed will equal to do dot completed. This dot id underscore id will equal to do dot underscore id. This dot action will equal update. This dot show form will equal 1, so that way it displays the form. And that should do that. And then we're going to just pass that down to display to dos because they're going to need that function. So, but we got to wrap it in an arrow function. I learned my lesson. Okay, so we'll just pass it as select equals an arrow function that takes some data and passes it to select to do and passes it to there as okay. And it's just complaining it doesn't recognize that, so we have to go to display to dos and recognize the prop at prop select, which is going to be a function. This dot to do's. So what I want to do is make it where if we click on the H3, on click equals, and again we do an arrow function because that's life. When you're dealing with classes, select, and then we pass in the to do in question. Okay. And then technically, I think with that, let me just see here. I think we need to create a handle update function too. Well, let's just double check. If I click on this, what happens? So let's just refresh the page. If I click on eat breakfast. Nice. Okay, very good. Very good. So let's create a handle update function. So I can just copy the handle create function. Okay, except this will be handle update. I don't need these console logs anymore. So let's get rid of these cheesy console logs. They've done their job. And this is going to be a put request. And again, this is going to be to the slash data dot underscore id. Then that resets the state. That all looks pretty good to me the rest of the way there. And then we're going to pass this down to form. So we'll just copy this. handle update. Okay, and again, I've already typed that, so that's already expecting it there. So I think we should be good. I should be able to update. So let's refresh. I want to, let's say, eat breakfast and say, hey, I ate breakfast. Cool, and it works. And if I click on this, I don't like that that's coming up automatically as true. So let's see why. This dot to do. So let's just do this, console.log to do. Okay. Yet this comes up as false. Why? To do form. Handle input. This app completed. Handle submit. Handle create. Not sure. For some reason, that's just automatically becoming true. I'll dig through that later. But let's just say we want to do that. It works. I can update things, so that's nice. So that's all that's left is being able to delete things. Yay! So that means all we have to do is go back to app, create a delete to do function. So I can just copy the update function. Handle delete. Okay, and this would be delete, and then I don't need any of this. Okay, that's good. We pass that down to display. So for display, let's break this down, make this a little bit more nicer looking. Okay. Okay, handle delete. Okay, then I just need to pass receive handle delete here. Prop handle delete, which is going to be a function. And then we pass the handle delete function over. We're going to create a button. That's right. So we create a button called delete. Okay, delete. And then I'm just going to copy this over here because it's the same idea. My difference is this is going to be handle delete. So now I should be able to delete to-dos. And it works. There we go. We did it. Full CRUD with StencilJS. Like, I think once we kind of like got over the whole issue with making sure I had to wrap all these functions in, even though I was doing it to an extent, I just didn't realize how far that issue went down as I passed functions around. But once we kind of overcame that, life got a lot easier. But yeah, that was fun. Okay. So overall, my thoughts are I like StencilJS for the most part. There's a lot of things I like about it. I don't find it necessarily easier than just working with like the native web component API. Like, but like if they could somehow get this to work in the way that like functional components work with React, this would be awesome. To be able to just like use a React, and I've tried to do that with a couple libraries in a much more simpler way with like Amponent and whatnot. I'll probably do one with Amponent just to show you what I mean. Yeah, that was all right. Again, I've always liked Stencil. They have added a lot of new features, and I like the way it uses TypeScript, and I find that pattern not a bad way to go. But yeah, that just took me a second. And then also just a weird thing with the way the event target works out. Like as you saw earlier, like it doesn't give you the actual element; it gives you the app root because of the way the shadow DOM works. So in that case, what we had to do is use the path. Once you figured that out, it wasn't so bad, but it definitely wasn't something that I saw clearly laid out in the documentation. So kind of had to spend a lot of time just kind of like working my way through that, which is why this build was so long. But otherwise, it's great. We still got like again things like lit.html, riot.js, just native web components, maybe Amponent, which is like my web component library. As future builds. But yeah, there's another one down. I'll see you guys later on. Have a great one.